You didn't just go through a breakup. You got handed a script men repeat after a split that sounds smart, sounds tough, and quietly ruins years of your life. Here's the truth. There are three myths most men buy after divorce. They look like wisdom. They feel like progress. They are traps. Today, I'm going to tear them apart and give you something better to run instead. A myth is dangerous because it's partially true. It gives you enough relief to keep you from changing. You feel like you're doing something, but you're actually cementing the problem. So, as I walk you through each myth, I'll give you three things: what it sounds like, how it secretly keeps you stuck, and what to run instead. What it sounds like. I just need time. What it means. I don't have a plan. Time is not a surgeon. Time is a multiplier. Whatever you practice, time multiplies. If you practice scrolling, time multiplies numbness. If you practice hiding, time multiplies isolation. If you practice avoidance, time will multiply fear. Picture two men on day one after a split. Man A says, "I'll wait it out." He goes to work, comes home, stares at a TV. He tells his friends he's fine. Man B says, "I'm rebuilding." He chooses 3 micro promises and keeps them daily. A 10-minute walk at sunrise, a real meal, one honest conversation a week. Fast forward 90 days. Man A feels the same, maybe worse, because time multiplied avoidance. Man B, he feels steadier because time multiplied action. How this keeps you stuck. Time heals. Sounds compassionate, but it gives your brain permission to do nothing. You'll call it patience, but it's paralysis in a nice outfit. What to run instead? Run the time multiplied by behavior rule. Pick 3 behaviors you do, even on your worst day. Do them daily. Let time multiply those. Because time doesn't have to heal by itself. Time heals what you repeat on purpose. If you remember one line from this myth, stop waiting for the clock. Start feeding the multiplier. What it sounds like. I just need to get back out there. What it means. I want a shortcut. Dating can be great. It's just a terrible bandage. Most men don't date after divorce. They audition. They're not choosing a person. They're recruiting amnesia. If she laughs at your jokes, you feel alive for a week. If she texts you back, you still think you're back. You're not back. You're distracted. Quick story. A client told me he'd found the one 3 weeks after his split. Translation, he found someone who made silence less scary. He wasn't ready to be known, just to be noticed. The relationship collapsed the moment real honesty was required. Why? Because attention can't replace alignment. How it keeps you stuck. When you resource your worth to whether someone chooses you, you train your nervous system to chase approval spikes. That's not connection. That's a slot machine. What to do instead? Run the sequence rule. Identity leads to stability, which leads to connection. Identity. Get clear on who you are now, not who you were in the relationship. Stability. Build boring, repeatable wins. Sleep, food, movement. One real friend. Connection. Date. When you're no longer looking for a nurse. If you skip the first two, the third becomes a revolving door. You'll keep repeating the same story with new names and nicer restaurants. Remember, a new person can amplify your rebuild, but they can't be your rebuild. What it sounds like. Once I get through this phase, I'll feel like myself again. What it means. I'm hoping the feeling shows up before the work. Confidence isn't a mood. Confidence is evidence. Evidence that you keep the promises you make to yourself. If the only promises you keep are the ones other people can see, your confidence will always be rented. Think about the last time you actually felt solid. Not loud, solid. It wasn't because of a pep talk. It was because you said you'd do something and you did it enough times that your brain started to believe you again. How it keeps you stuck. When you treat confidence like weather, you wait for it to change on its own. Meanwhile, you keep breaking tiny commitments. Bedtime, food, movement, boundaries. Your brain is watching, taking notes, and updating your self-trust score to low. What to run instead? Run the 3 micros for 30 days. Micro promise. One tiny non-negotiable you complete before noon. 5 push-ups, 5 minutes of journaling, a 10-minute walk. Micro integrity. One boundary honored daily. Say no once where you'd usually say yes, or say yes where you're hiding. Micro risk. One small action that stretches you. Send the message. Ask for help. Book the class. Stack those. Track them. Let evidence build the feeling. Call back to myth 1. Notice the theme? Time multiplies behavior. Make that behavior provable, not performative. So the loop, looks like this. You wait for time to save you. It multiplies avoidance. You chase a new person to fix you. It multiplies noise. You expect confidence to come back. It multiplies broken promises. The fix isn't more intensity. It's better sequence. Identify first. Stability second. Connection third. And confidence, that's the receipt your brain prints after enough days of showing up. If you want something you can do today, run this. Morning, 10 minutes total. 10 deep breaths on the porch or by a window. A 10-minute walk with no headphones. Glass of water and protein. That's your micro promise done before noon. Midday for micro integrity. Say one honest yes or no that you would have fudged. Evening, 5 minutes max. A micro risk. One small stretch. Reply to the message. Book the class. Schedule the call. Write down your 3 completions. Check the box. That's evidence. That's confidence. Do this for 10 days before you decide how you feel. Give your system proof to work with. Here's why most men still spin, even when they try to do this. They don't know which pattern they're trapped in. So they keep solving the wrong problem and calling it trying. Most men, after divorce, fall into one of 5 patterns. Burned romantic, drifter, wounded builder, lone wolf, or silent storm. I'll personally send you the post-divorce survival guide, absolutely free. You'll also be auto-enrolled in the 7-day reset. So you don't just know your pattern. You can start shifting out of it.